Thanks for tuning in. I've been out today buying records, or at least attempting to buy records, and I've only actually walked away with one record. I visited an actual record shop, BPM Records in Derby. I don't know how many of you have been to that shop, but I'll say some. I'll basically provide a review for my trip into that record shop, and I scoured some charity shops, and unfortunately, I only found one record that I wanted to buy, and it's nothing really to talk about, but I'll show it to you later. Okay, first of all, yeah, so BPM Records in Derby. I'd never heard of them before, and I had a walk down Sadlergate and Blacksmith's Yard. There used to be a shop there called MDT Classics that I visited in the 80s, late 80s, and early 90s when I was primarily building up a CD collection. They moved on, or rather, they closed the shop and focused on mail order, and eventually they went out of business, I think about 5 or 6 years ago because of streaming. So I was really kind of pleasantly surprised to see another record shop in that space, Blacksmith's Yard in Derby. I happened to catch sight of the sign for BPM Records, and here's the sign that I saw, and here's a picture of the shop. Okay, yeah. So I went into the shop. The shop is very well laid out. There's a lot of stock. There's a downstairs area and there's also an upstairs area. Most of the records upstairs are his cheap range. Let me see. He does them £3 each or 5 for £10. Now, I very quickly asked, are there any classical records? He said, yes, I've got some upstairs, but I don't think you'll find any that you'll be interested in. They're mainly classics for pleasure, music for pleasure, budget labels, etc. I said, well, okay, I might as well have a look at them anyway. So I asked him what the price was. And actually, when he said MFP and CFP, I said to him, oh, what are they, £1 each? He said, no, they're £3 each, 5 for £10. Well, that wasn't a good start because to me, that's overpricing records. It's hard enough to sell classical records as it is without trying to get £3 each for CFPs and MFPs, but it's his business. So I went upstairs, I found the classical records. There were only about 200. I went through them. Yeah, they were mainly all CFPs and MFPs and that kind of thing, and I didn't find anything I was interested in, quite predictably. So I then browsed upstairs for a little while, and I noticed that most of his, the sort of not even bread and butter, a charity shop fare, I would call it. He was selling £3 each or 5 for £10, which I browsed through and I didn't really find anything at all. So, I realized that what wouldn't be worth my while to browse through. So, yeah, I went back downstairs and I said, I didn't find anything in the classical. But at the back of my mind, because I said to him, have you taken out all the best ones and sold them on eBay or, and he said, no, he said he's never even sold a single classical record. I found that hard to believe. And I thought, well, if that's the case, why is he trying to get £3 each for CFPs and MFPs? Maybe if he priced them at 50p each, he'd actually be able to clear some. But anyway, it's his business. He knows best. So I said, okay, well, I'm interested in Queen, Blondie, Pink Floyd, and he showed me the way that he's got his shop organized is that there's a large section of what he calls non-collectible records, which he's selling for £7.50 each across the board. That includes Chris de Burgh, Barbara Dixon, and ABBA, and you get the idea. The Carpenters. I mean, all the Carpenters albums were £7.50 a piece. Yeah, £7.50 a piece for Carpenters albums. So I browsed through them very quickly, and that was like half the shop. I realised I wouldn't find anything there. I mean, who's going to pay £7.50 for the Carpenters? And records like that. You can buy virtually all the Carpenters records on eBay, the whole lot of them, for about £15, including shipping for the whole lot. Of course, if you want to buy them individually, they will cost sort of £5 or £6. But I don't know. Again, £7.50 for Carpenters records. I think if he really wants to sell these records, he needs to sort of lower his prices a bit. And then I started looking at the collectibles, where, everything was like £10 plus, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, whatever. And I started to find some more interesting records, but still I wasn't finding what I wanted. I said, oh, have you got any Blondie and have you got any Queen? Because I wasn't really finding anything. And the Jam, I'm also interested in the Jam. And just a minute. Yeah, I know you did. Okay, sorry about that. Just somebody calling me. I didn't want to pause the video, so I've just gone and said, yeah, I hear you. All right. So, where was I? Yeah, this shop. So I told him, yeah, he said he's got Blondie. He offered me Parallel Lines. Managed to find a copy of Parallel Lines for £15, an original copy. And I thought, okay, £15 for a really good copy of Parallel Lines. I didn't quite like the jacket. It was a little bit, around the edges. It didn't look too good. And I checked the condition. I went to the window. I know what I'm doing. I'm not a fool. And straight away, I started to see some sort of hairlines. And then I saw a mark in one of the tracks that my experience told me this is going to be a problem. No two ways about it. I've had too much experience with records to know that it's not worth taking a chance. Even for a fiver, I wouldn't have taken a chance, let alone £15. And I sort of screwed my face up. And then he said, oh, we've got a 180 gram record. We've got this, we've got that. I said, no, only buy originals. And yeah, so I thought, I just want to get out of this shop because I don't know. I thought I'm not going to buy anything from here. I don't think I'm going to find records in the condition that I want. So I put it back and I said, oh, I'll look in another time, which was a diplomatic way of saying, I'm going now, I'm not buying anything. So, I mean, there were one or two other people in the shop, which sort of, but I mean, having said that, I no longer now go to dealers, and if I don't find anything I want, I just say, oh, I'll see you another time, and I get out quickly. I don't stick around to make a purchase just, for the sake of it. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said there was some I didn't like the look of some of the marks that I saw on Parallel Lines. And he said, oh, I played it yesterday and it was fine. Ha ha, rubbish. Well, I mean, I can't disprove his statement, but you're telling me that out of all the thousands of records that he's got in there, he's played Parallel Lines yesterday and it's fine. No way. Well, I mean, look, I mean, I'm a classical collector. My standards for condition are very high. I apply the same condition for pop as I do for classical, and there was no way I was going to buy that record, and I wasn't going to take it on his say so that he played it through and it was okay. Absolutely no chance. So yeah, I got out of the shop fairly quickly, and took a couple of photos of it, and just got on my way. Would I recommend it? I don't know. I mean, there's so much chaff in that shop, selling for £3 each. And I don't really see any point in it, frankly, because I know that I could get a good copy of Parallel Lines with no problems for £15, including shipping on eBay. Why should I pay £15 for a record that's marked? It looked to me like at best a VG or VG plus, and for £15 for Parallel Lines, I want like a VG plus plus or an EX, something that's got no sort of nothing serious wrong with it. Okay, so yeah, I got out of the place. I went to some charity shops. And yeah, I mean, just to say, to be honest with you, if you're in Derby anyway, yeah, go and visit it. Don't make a special visit there. I wouldn't really recommend it. I mean, look, in Nottingham, there's a record shop there that sells sort of fashion and records. I can't remember what it's called, but it's near the snooker club. If any of you know, it's near the Roebuck Weatherspoons. There's a record shop there. For £5, I got a really good copy of Plastic Letters. For £5. Now, I would have paid a tenner for that and been really happy with it. But, £15, no way. I mean, for £5, I paid £10 in a proper record shop for an absolutely superb copy of The Game by Queen. It's got to be really, I mean, there's no point going out to record shops if you're going to come back with marked records, which are too much marked up, the price. So, yeah, no, I wouldn't make a special trip, but if you're going there anyway, then yeah, why not? Okay, so the only record I did buy from a charity shop is this, believe it or not. I paid £1 for that. If it was £2, I wouldn't have bought it. Liszt, Fantasia, and Fugue. And it's got Vidor as well. I mean, it's a really excellent condition LXT. I don't really even like organ music that much, but even it's a gold letters on orange. I thought, well, for £1, I'll buy that. So yeah, pretty miserable day buying records. But anyway, at least I got some exercise. And I was able to review that shop for you guys. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.